Are you ready to break the invisible chains that have been quietly controlling your income, your confidence, and your future? Before we go any further, I need you to do 3 simple things. Subscribe to this channel right now, so you never miss the daily mindset shifts that can change your life. Like this video if you're ready to think differently about money. And in the comments write, "I am reprogramming my mind for wealth." Make it public, make it real, make it a declaration. Because what you are about to understand may challenge everything you've believed about money. Your mind may be programmed for poverty, not because you are incapable, not because you lack intelligence, not because you don't work hard, but because, long before you earned your first dollar, long before you made your first financial decision, a silent script was being written deep inside your subconscious mind, and that script has been running your life. Napoleon Hill spent decades studying the psychology of success, and discovered that the real difference between those who build wealth and those who struggle is not luck or background, but the hidden force within the mind. The subconscious does not argue, it does not question, it simply accepts what it is repeatedly fed, and works tirelessly to make it real. If you were repeatedly exposed to fear about money, you internalized it. If you heard that wealthy people are dishonest, you stored that belief. If you watched your parents struggle and constantly say they couldn't afford things, your mind accepted limitation as normal. If you failed once and concluded you were bad with money, your subconscious turned that into identity, and identity shapes behavior. Here is the truth most people avoid. Your income is not just a reflection of your effort, it is a reflection of your internal programming. You don't earn what you want, you earn what you believe you deserve. Your subconscious mind acts like fertile soil. Whatever you plant in, it grows. Plant doubt, and it grows hesitation. Plant fear, and it grows procrastination. Plant unworthiness, and it grows self-sabotage. And this happens below conscious awareness. You may consciously desire wealth and freedom, but if your subconscious associates wealth with guilt, danger, or rejection, it will quietly block you from achieving it, because its primary job is protection, not prosperity. Have you noticed how some people sabotage themselves when success is close? They delay opportunity, avoid visibility, undercharge, overspend, or quit too early. That is not laziness. That is programming pulling them back to what feels familiar. The subconscious always guides you toward what feels normal, even if normal is struggle. If scarcity is familiar, abundance feels uncomfortable. If chaos is familiar, peace feels suspicious. So you recreate what you know. 2 people with similar skills can end up with completely different financial lives, because one believes money flows from value and growth, while the other believes money is rare and fragile. Those beliefs influence tone, posture, decisions, persistence, risk tolerance, and negotiation. Small differences repeated daily compound into massive results. Beliefs create thoughts. Thoughts create decisions. Decisions create habits. Habits create results. Results reinforce beliefs. It becomes a closed loop. If you believe you are bad with money, you hesitate. If you hesitate, you miss opportunity. When results don't improve, your belief feels confirmed. The loop tightens. But if the mind was programmed, it can be reprogrammed. The subconscious is not your enemy. It is a powerful system waiting for direction. The first step is awareness. Listen to your inner dialogue about money. Do you feel guilt when raising your prices? Do you feel unrealistic imagining higher income? Your emotional reactions reveal subconscious associations. The second step is repetition with emotion. The subconscious responds to feeling. When you visualize success, don't just see numbers. Feel the relief, the confidence, the stability. Emotion imprints belief. The third step is controlling input. What you hear daily shapes you. Constant complaints about the economy reinforce scarcity. Content that mocks ambition reinforces limitation. Surround yourself with examples of growth and possibility. Feed your mind empowering narrative. The fourth step is decisive action aligned with your new identity. Action signals seriousness to your mind. When you invest in learning, start something new, negotiate confidently, or take calculated risks. You communicate who you are becoming. Identity shifts through repetition and consistency. You must confront fear directly. Many financial limits are emotional limits, disguised as logic. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of outgrowing people. When examined, fear weakens. Redefine wealth as expanded capacity, not greed. Wealth increases options, security, and impact. Align wealth with contribution and resistance softens. Combine gratitude with expectation. Be grateful for what you have while expecting growth. Gratitude stabilizes you. Expectation stretches you. Upgrade your self-image. If you see yourself as someone who struggles financially, you will unconsciously maintain that level. Begin seeing yourself as capable, disciplined, resourceful, and act accordingly before proof appears. The subconscious responds to what you consistently assume is true. If you constantly affirm that money is hard, your brain searches for proof. If you assume value creates income, and you can create value, your brain searches for opportunity. Your perception filters reality. Many opportunities are invisible because they do not match your identity. The most dangerous part of poverty programming is that it feels normal. It feels like personality. It feels like fact, but it was learned, and what is learned can be unlearned. Imagine the version of you who has fully reprogrammed their mind, calm with money, strategic with decisions, persistent through setbacks, confident in negotiation. That identity is built through repetition. Every time you challenge a limiting belief, you weaken it. Every time you act courageously, you reinforce a new script. Over time, the subconscious accepts the new narrative. You are not defined by your past income. You are not trapped by childhood conditioning. Your mind is adaptable, but responsibility is yours. Change requires daily awareness and discipline. The moment you decide change is possible, power returns. A single belief shift can create a new action. A new action can create a new opportunity. A new opportunity can transform your trajectory. Before you leave, subscribe right now so you never miss the daily mindset training shared here. Like this video if you are committed to breaking financial ceiling. And in the comments, write, "My mind works for wealth." Declare it publicly. Because the greatest investment you will ever make is in your internal programming. Your subconscious mind is always listening. Feed it vision instead of fear. Feed it belief instead of doubt. Feed it purpose instead of limitation. One day you will look back and realize this was the turning point. Not luck, not a miracle. The decision to take control of your mental blueprint. You were not destined for poverty. You were conditioned for it. And conditioning can be reversed. There are videos here every single day to strengthen your mindset and expand your vision. Keep showing up. Keep upgrading your beliefs. Keep building the identity of someone who creates wealth with confidence and integrity. Your mind is powerful beyond measure. Program it wisely and watch your reality transform. Perfect. Now understand something even deeper. The subconscious mind does not respond to what you say once. It responds to what you repeat under emotion and certainty. If for years you repeated thoughts of limitation, even silently, those thoughts became instructions, and the subconscious executes instructions faithfully. It does not judge whether they serve you. It simply works to make them real. That means if you constantly said, "Money is stressful," your mind will create stressful money experiences. If you repeated, "I never get ahead," your behavior will unconsciously align with stagnation. This is not punishment. It is programming. And most people never question their mental code. They question their circumstances. They question the economy. They question other people. But they rarely question the internal script directing their reactions. The most powerful shift happens the moment you realize you have been operating on inherited beliefs, not chosen one. Many of your financial ideas were absorbed before you were old enough to analyze them. You inherited emotional reactions to money before you understood what money even was. If arguments happened around finances, your nervous system linked money to conflict. If scarcity was constant, your nervous system linked money to survival anxiety. And now, as an adult, even when opportunities appear, your body reacts as if danger is present. This is why logic alone does not change income. Information is not enough. You can read books, watch videos, attend seminars, and still repeat the same patterns, because knowledge updates the conscious mind, but repetition and emotion update the subconscious. That is why transformation requires embodiment. You must practice thinking differently until it feels natural. At first, it will feel artificial. It may feel uncomfortable to think in abundance if you have lived in scarcity. But discomfort is a sign of growth, not a sign of impossibility. When you begin earning more than you ever have, you may feel strange. When you begin charging more, you may feel exposed. When you begin investing in yourself at a higher level, you may feel nervous. That discomfort is your identity stretching. Most people retreat at that moment and return to familiar limits. But if you stay through that expansion phase, your nervous system recalibrates. What once felt unrealistic becomes normal. What once felt intimidating becomes expected. This is how financial ceilings are broken. Not in one dramatic leap, but in repeated exposure to higher standards. Raise your standards mentally before reality catches up. See yourself as someone who handles larger responsibility, who manages larger income, who creates larger value. Speak differently about money. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," ask, "How can I create the income to afford it?" That subtle shift moves your brain from limitation to solution. The subconscious responds to direction. Ask better questions, and you will receive better mental pathways. Also understand the power of association. The people you spend time with influence your financial thermostat. If everyone around you normalizes struggle, your subconscious resists standing out. But if you consistently expose yourself to people who normalize growth, investment, and expansion, your mind adjusts its definition of normal. Environment reinforces identity. Even if you cannot change your physical environment immediately, you can change your informational environment. Listen to conversations that elevate you. Study stories of people who overcame financial limitations. Saturate your mind with possibility until scarcity begins to feel foreign. Repetition reshapes reality, and do not ignore self-talk during setbacks. When something does not work, the poverty program activates quickly. It says, "See, this is why you don't try." That voice is old, conditioning defending itself. Interrupt it. Replace it immediately. Say, "This is feedback. This is growth. This is data." When failure becomes feedback instead of identity, persistence increases. Persistence multiplies probability. Probability increases opportunity. Opportunity increases income. It all begins with interpretation. Another powerful shift is detaching self-worth from current income. Many people unconsciously tie identity to earnings. If income drops, confidence drops. If income rises, confidence rises. That instability creates emotional volatility. Instead, anchor your self-worth in your capacity to learn, adapt, and create value. Income becomes a byproduct, not a definition. When identity is stable, decision-making improves. Stable identity leads to consistent action. Consistent action leads to predictable growth. Remember this, your subconscious wants coherence. If you say you want wealth, but constantly speak negatively about wealthy people, your mind senses conflict. If you say you desire success, but fear visibility, your mind senses contradiction. Resolve internal conflict. Align desire with belief. Align belief with action. When alignment happens, momentum accelerates, and momentum builds confidence. Confidence fuels more action. It becomes a positive loop instead of a limiting one. Imagine 5 years from now. If nothing changes internally, your external results will likely repeat in patterns. But if you commit today to reprogramming your mental framework, 5 years can look radically different. Small shifts today compound into massive transformation tomorrow. The subconscious thrives on consistency. 10 minutes a day of intentional visualization. 10 minutes of affirming empowered beliefs with emotion. 10 minutes of studying growth principle. Over a year, that is over 60 hours of deliberate mental conditioning. That is powerful. You cannot expect new financial realities with old mental software. Update the software and the output changes. And understand this clearly. Wealth begins in thought, but it is validated through action. You cannot only think differently, you must behave differently. Apply for the opportunity, launch the idea, improve the skill, negotiate the rate, invest in the course, take calculated risks. Action cements belief. When you act in alignment with abundance, your subconscious receives proof that the new identity is real. Proof strengthens programming. Programming shapes destiny. Do not wait to feel fully confident before acting. Confidence is built through action, not before it. Every courageous step sends a message. I am no longer operating from fear. I am no longer operating from limitation. I am expanding. And expansion becomes addictive in the best way. Growth becomes your new normal. Financial increase becomes a natural extension of personal development. You begin to see that money is not the enemy. It is energy responding to value. The more value you create, the more income flows. This belief transforms effort into opportunity. It removes resentment and replaces it with strategy. Instead of asking, why don't I have more? You begin asking, how can I serve at a higher level? That question unlocks creativity. Creativity generates solutions. Solutions create income. And as your internal world shifts, your external world follows. Opportunities appear where you once saw obstacles. Conversations open doors that used to intimidate you. You begin attracting different relationships because your identity has evolved. All of this begins in the subconscious. That is why this message matters. Before you leave, remind yourself why you are here. You are here because you refuse to remain limited by inherited beliefs. Subscribe right now if you are committed to upgrading your mental programming daily. Like this video as a signal to yourself that change starts now. And in the comments, write boldly, I choose abundance. Let it be your declaration. There are videos every single day on this channel designed to reinforce growth, discipline, confidence, and expansion. Daily repetition builds identity. Daily identity builds results. You are not powerless. You are programmable. And once you take control of that programming, everything shifts. Your income, your confidence, your future. You were never meant to stay confined by scarcity. You were meant to evolve, to expand, to create. The invisible chains were never locked. They were conditioned, and now you are aware. Awareness is power. Action is transformation. Discipline is freedom. Program your mind intentionally. Raise your standards relentlessly. Align your beliefs with your potential. And watch, over time, as your financial reality rises, to meet the identity you have consciously built.